Well, hello there. Um, is I your King Ginger? It's me and the Matthew in the morning today. Um, Beard's birthday was this week, so what about this, Matt? What about a little TikTok? TikTok.
I mean, I don't know how accurate my timekeeping is, but
Well, if you're just like a cosmic keeper of balance, hence the sweet black and white Zodak armor. I don't know. Anyway, I'll keep brainstorming on it. No Beard probably today because it's his birthday. If you haven't done
weekend, and
so,
yes,
yeah, if
yes.
you haven't done so, go wish that beautiful, beautiful boy a happy birthday. Actually, this looks kind of cool. Oh man, it does look cool if it stays in his hand like that. That looks kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
Like, look at me. I'm checking out what's happening with the time stream. Um, no Colin, as unfortunately Colin's daughter has injured herself and they have to go in to get a tetanus shot. Well, that's even cooler.
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, anyway,
Mm.
sorry, I'm playing with toys right now. I'm trying to build a Motu mat. And because I've built a Motu Nate, it was the first one of the first mods I built was for Nate. Very Green Lantern-esque themed. And then I made James last year, I want to say. And I've been trying to figure out a good way to do Matt for a while, and it is not and as easy as you would seem. Since I was finishing up a bunch of projects, a bunch of Motu projects, I was
Yeah,
trying
you
to get.
knocked a ton of stuff out.
I finished a bunch of stuff. I had a bunch of stuff just kind of sitting,
Well, yeah, I mean,
almost finished. But
I've
um,
got a ton of stuff started. But, yeah.
so I've been trying to get. I got the one arm to fit perfect, and this one
Yeah.
got whittled down too far. So I've been using. I was trying to use green stuff to get it to fit.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is whenever I would put it in the socket, it would just the green stuff would just come off.
Ah.
So this morning it did it again, but luckily it had formed a shell. So now I just glue in the shell on
Ah.
to
There
the
you go.
arm. But like I painted the arms up, gave them that gold to match the gold elsewhere, and
Yeah.
actually I think it's going to turn out pretty good. Anyway, prep school. We're gonna work a little on Kirby World today. And I just have some other stuff too. Like I'm trying to. I was hoping Colin was going to be here because I had an idea for We Deal in Lead
Oh,
that
what did you expect?
popped into my head, and I wanted to just throw it out there to him. So I'll just throw it out there to you because I thought it was an interesting idea.
All right.
How familiar are you with like Stephen King stuff? Hey, Super Spike.
Not super. I mean, very unfamiliar. I mean,
Have
I'm aware of him. I've experienced some of it, but I haven't read any books or any of that. So
you seen any of the flicks?
no. I
You know,
mean,
you haven't watched any
um,
Stephen King stuff, really?
trying to think. I mean, I've probably seen something at some point, but it's just not. It's never like
Might I make a request?
I guess The Shining.
My request would be go watch the Toby Hooper TV movie version of Salem's Lot.
Okay.
It is quite possibly the best TV horror movie ever made. It's two parts.
Okay.
It is utterly fantastic. Salem's Lot's one of my favorite stories, period. It's second only to The Stand, which, if you've got an entire, 2,000 pages worth of time to set aside,
Yeah.
I think I may be underdoing the page count, which is also one of my favorite books. It is my favorite book of all time. Hey Shaggy. But that TV movie is exceptional.
Okay.
They remade it. TNT remade it in I want to say the early 2000s with Rob Lowe and Andre Brower and some other very good people. It's not quite as good, but it's still good. The whole concept of Salem's Lot is what sells it, though. It's the idea that this thing rolls into town, and which I'll just give it. It's vampires. Matt.
Yeah, I knew it was vampires.
that by the time people figure out what it is, it's too late. It's
Ah,
like an infection, and it's just spread throughout this town. And by the time they figure out like what's happening, there's no coming back.
hmm.
Also, there's a sequel that I can't remember who did it, but it's fucking terrible. But it's so terrible, it's great. It's about like an author that comes to Salem's Lot because like after the events of the story, like Stephen King mentions Salem's Lot a couple other times, that it's like a ghost town.
Okay.
And in this sequel, the vampires who live there bring a writer there to write their Bible. Um,
Okay. Uh,
the car, so it's like there's a car and a clown and a tower and a Jack Nicholson, and that's the goodest boy. That's all I know. That's fair. But so like King, all of his stories touch because of the Dark Tower. Um, so
yes.
these worlds touch one another. Um, so in the story Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to The Shining,
Yes.
which
Yeah, I've picked up a lot of this stuff through osmosis.
so the book gave me tear, movie almost gave me tear because Ian McGregor as grown up Danny Torrance is real good, and his story is so fucking depressing. Um, but so the enemy in that story is this thing called the True Knot.
Okay.
And the True Knot is kind of like vampires. They're a group of very, 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 very old in age, but not in physical appearance, individuals who feed on people who have like the Shining.
Okay.
People who are special, they literally feed on them.
So the
Um,
externals.
yeah, and they do so, but
Not true.
the way to make them more palpable and to make the effects of the feeding last longer is they need to traumatize them first. And there is a scene where they find a boy in Nebraska walking home from his baseball game. In the book, it's hard to read. The movie, it's almost impossible to watch. It's so well done. It's fucking horrific. Um, so my thought was that it's the Knot have been leaving towns across the Sea of Silt, which is an area in the Dark Tower. They've just been leaving ghost towns in their wake because they've just been, eating these people, these entire towns. Um, so they're just like this moving meat wagon of psychic feeding. So they're just leaving these husks behind, so that your characters are trying to hunt them down, basically.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's would be kind of interesting. I mean, you could definitely turn it very much into a Western feeling, because you could just say, oh, it's a group of it's a group of bandits essentially,
Yeah.
um, hitting these towns and leaving no one left alive. You could also steal the oh God, I can't remember what that was in. There's a concept, and I can't remember what movie it's from or what book it's from, where when the Vikings, different tribes of Vikings would hit villages, they would, yeah, vampire wagon train is pretty great. They would leave one person alive and they would cut their tongue out and they'd let them run because they would run to the next village and they wouldn't be able to tell them what was coming, and they would just follow them there.
Right.
And I've always thought that is just so disturbing. I don't know if it's actually historically true or not, but the idea of it is just like, oh God, that's horrible. Oregon Trail, opa, you got vampires. So that's that idea, and I've kind of had it floating around in my head. I know he wanted to run We Deal in Lead, so I was going to run that by him today, but I wrote it down, so hopefully it won't completely
Yeah.
run away into the ether. These are the type of things that I run through my head as I'm either going to sleep or waking up from sleeping, which is, it explains so much. I had something else too, and now I didn't write that down.
Didn't write it down, and now it's
and now it's run away. So let me share the screen here. Matt, how are you? I know I spoke to you yesterday, but how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Where they call it?
Yeah, just
Oh, that's interesting. I've never
that's-
heard of that super spike. That's really cool. Kind of like what they would do with the hounds in the X-Men stuff. You doing pretty good though?
yeah.
What'd you do last night?
What did I do? Um, 1 second here.
No, you're cool. I mean, I got nothing going on.
Mm-mm.
Also, I know I gave you the body. If you ever figure out how to get the belt off that body, let me know, because this dude looks great now that I got the red cleaned off the pants. But he does look like he needs something in the crotchal region.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I mean, I think I could probably.
Don't wreck the figure if you're going to use it, though.
Oh no, 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 no! I actually ended up buying one.
It's a really good figure. I think the head's a little derpy.
The head's a little derpy. Yeah, they're getting a lot of it's marked down right now.
Oh,
So
is it?
yeah, I grabbed Frosta for $10, and if I see the new
Oh,
returns,
I will definitely. I don't have a Frosta. If you see that again, let me know.
okay, and if I see oh yeah, okay, that's how they did that.
If
If I
you're
see the new Eternia Stratos for that price, I'll get it too. But the only I think I saw it marked down, but it wasn't marked down that cheap.
Yeah, I'm also looking for any Origins Webster. Fuck, he's hard to find.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, you are like 3, 4 waves ahead of retail on Origins.
Yeah,
It's
which is
wild.
depressing.
I mean, they're still going, so you know,
Yeah, it's like almost goes in spite of itself.
kind of. Interestingly enough, yeah. I don't know what. I mean, hopefully retail catches up. And it sounds like they're going back to. They're going to be taking another crack at the like. I think Entertainment Earth has pre-orders up for the Randor wave. So it sounds like they're going to do another run of those because I know that was super hard to get.
Yeah, I know that BBTS got a wave of the Zodak stuff a while back. Because I was able to pick up another Zodak for parts. But yeah, it's not been it's not they've not made it easy to get extras or just to get parts in general.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wish they would get their shit together, but
And I guess I know I need to go pre-order all that good stuff they just released all the information on, but right now I'm like, oh god, that's gonna cost me a fucking kidney.
400 and some bucks. I think that's if you got everything though.
Yeah, and I just bought a Hebrew kit to trick out the inside of my Castle Grayskull, and that set me back a reasonable amount. I have to sand it and paint it, but it's fucking cool. And Hebrew does some really nice work.
All
And
right,
then
yeah, you need to. You might want to trim it down so it sits better. But
oh, cool. Yeah, you were able to really. How'd you? Okay, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know how you.
it's easy. It's easy, just so you know for the future. And you've probably done the same technique. I just cut in from the side
Mm-hmm.
and then across the top.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I don't. I had so much. I cut myself 3 different times this week. One of them bad enough to split my nail through
Oof.
my thumb. It's just been a rough modding week
Yeah.
here.
No, I
And,
mean
and
this is
shave.
this is harder plastic than I'm used to them using for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But it actually is. Now that it's not on there, it's got some flex. So yeah, I'll throw that on your pile.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
And then I just to kind of hype some things up. I'm also backing Shadow Dark, which went over $1 million a few days ago. Which, if you're looking to play a RPG that has a D&D feel but isn't giving wizards your money, let me recommend this. I'm very intrigued by this 5e meets OSR game, and the fact
Yeah.
that it uses some real-time components,
That
such
is
as when you light a torch in the game, and torches are important, you start a clock on your phone, and your torches go out every hour, literally every hour. So it pushes the players to not spend a bunch of time dicking off, um, which is real interesting. Hey, Matt, you got a question?
no,
Wreck and Rampage rig.
no, that's even cheaper. I
I,
did not get it. I don't know if I'm going to. I might wait for clearance, even though those tend not to hit clearance. It is a big item though, so maybe it will. I just don't have the space, and I'd be customizing it, so I know that the chances of me actually getting to it are pretty low, unfortunately. So it's one of those things like, and then I've been spending plenty enough lately anyway.
yeah, so Shadow Dark, I recommend it, but I went all in, and it's gonna be about a hundo for all the books and all the stuff, which that is what it is. Um, um, oh, Super Spike hasn't grabbed it themselves. I mean, if that's your thing, Super Spike, go for it. And you've got the cash. I mean, that's a reasonably good deal. 40% off is nothing to
Yeah.
sneeze at. The other thing is a game called Maladium, which is also on Kickstarter right now. And Maladium is by a company called Battle Systems. And Battle Systems makes a game that I adore called Core Space. And
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
love
back
Core Space.
the first Core Space Kickstarter, and I've kicked myself repetitively since then. I did back the second one, and was luckily able to get almost everything out of that. I was a late backer on it. Maladium is their fantasy setting.
Mm.
And it's using the same skin and bones, or I should say the same bones that Core Space uses. And Core Space is about as good of a tabletop adventure style game using an RPG element. It is exceptionally good at telling a story just while you're moving dudes through scenarios. There's just so much kind of vibrant nature to it. And I really am intrigued by Maladium because while it names its races very similar to your fantasy tropes, they do not look like that. And I'm starting to think that Maladium is also in Core Space.
Ah.
That it's a world where some of these races crashed and have reverted back to like, um, a more primitive state. So I'm hoping that's what it is because I love that idea.
I think it seems like that would be a logical progression. But
But I'm very, very, I'm on the fence whether I'll keep my my backing just because it's real pricey. It's
yeah,
real pricey. But again, I know if I don't and then I want to get it later, it's going to be almost twice as much to get all that stuff.
yeah, but you can still do it.
Could.
I mean, that's kind of the mode I'm trying to shift into, where it's like, just get the stuff you really, really want, and then be willing to be smart later, or spend a
I
lot.
think that's what I'll probably end up doing is just.
But I get it.
Later.
I've got some stuff that I'm looking at right now, and then supposedly they're doing another Mattel Creations WWE Ultimate thing that I might be tempted by.
What I see the last couple of Mattel Creations I haven't been able to get. They've just gone out so fast.
Oh yeah, well the figures, those Origins figures, just they go. No, this is going to be a crowdfund sort of deal, so that'll run for a while. They're teasing. We know it's WCW related, and they're teasing the Nitro entrance stage, which it's not like super like.
I mean, it's cool, but
and it'll depend on the price for me. I just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the Halloween Havoc stage.
Oh, sure. Well, and they might have it so you can add extra shit to it, but yeah, I hear you.
Because that Halloween Havoc one is fire.
I'll be curious to see what it is and what the price is. But I've got enough other shit going on right now that I'll pass. I hope it's something I don't like.
What if it's the Tower of Doom?
I don't think they're doing that. Not enough mass appeal.
What if it's the God? I can't remember the thing where Abdul the Butcher got electrocuted. I can't remember what that's called. Where the electric chair in the middle of the cage ring, it's with the coffins like all around the sides. So silly, so beautifully silly. All right, well, a couple of things I did add here recently is I want to add something in where if you're using these kind of source code powers, that there's potential damage, but this potential damage shouldn't be like a physical thing. It should be a loss of self. Like you're almost becoming one with that code. So you're becoming less of a person.
Okay.
I haven't quite figured out how to put that into tangible mechanical terms. But that I kind of had that. The other thing, again, I had this weird thought the other day is a cult of new. And it's this idea of a entire cult that's built around like whatever's next. But what they're really doing is they're feeding almost this Lovecraftian concept monster that just wants to see your future hopes dashed. It's feeding on the fact that hope you're looking for will never come. But also, I kind of want them to be the equivalent of like space moonies. So they're like trying to they're meeting you at the game version of the airport, trying to get you to convert, telling you about how great it's going to be. You could make a King of the Road match with the Wreck Rampage rig.
What
if the semi pulling the King of the Road match is actually Optimus Prime?
As far as the falling into the source code thing, could it be like if each of these powers has like an inverse like power or stat or something, and the more you use it, maybe it starts to like affect your base stats for whatever the opposing thing is.
And that's what I was thinking of, like maybe using the equivalent of a sanity score.
Okay.
Which is, a Call of Cthulhu primarily.
Yeah.
Score that lowers as you fail sanity checks. But I don't know. I'm kind of having some focus. I did not sleep well for like the last 4 days, so having a little bit of and I was up at 5 this morning trying to go back to sleep. Unfortunately, let's see if there's something in Tremulous.
Tremulous, okay.
Tremulous is a Powered by the Apocalypse game that is basically Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, okay.
So if you know anything about Call of Cthulhu, it's kind of like you're poking into things you shouldn't, and when you poke too far, you're either going to die or just go insane. Which who's to say which is actually worse? Especially in Lovecraft stories or Lovecraftian stories, because they're not all Lovecraft. I just said Lovecraft, I think. Jeez. Now I will say that when I lived up in Duluth, we used to play a combination of Call of Cthulhu and a game called Pulp.
Okay.
Which was a game was made by White Wolf, who made Werewolf and Vampire and all that, like on their TriStat system. And they had these 3 games I can't remember the name of all of them. The very first one was called Trinity, and it was set like in the far future, where like almost everybody had some form of superpowers, type of thing. And these things called aberrants show back up out of deep space and
Hmm.
attack like what's left of humanity.
Yeah.
The middle game is called Aberrant, and it's about like all these superpowered individuals showing up, like manifesting, and how it's kind of very Kingdom Come-ish. That there's like these aberrants and they don't follow they don't follow the rules. They're constantly in like massive combat with one another, destroying things. Some of them are employed by different corporations or different governments doing things. There's a supplement about an aberrant wrestling federation that has Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair in it as like executives. Um, it's aberrant was cool, but it was almost like very Liefeld-esque
Yeah.
in its try hardness. And then the last game they released was the one that took place first, which is called Pulp, which is the very first signs of people manifesting these powers.
Okay.
And Pulp is really neat because it's a pulp game. You know, it's Doc Savage, it's
Yeah.
the Shadow, but a little kind of that even early Superman, where he doesn't fly, he just jumps. He literally leaps over buildings in a single bound. And one of my complaints about Call of Cthulhu is you're so squishy. Like
Yeah.
you have to understand, like, be invested in your character, but know that character is going to die horribly, go nuts completely, or you're going to retire and they're going to have to deal with the fact that they are letting humanity suffer under the yoke of these things from beyond time and
Yeah.
space. Which also can just drive you mad slowly. And I always was like, man, I would really love if we played something that was maybe a little more like Hellboy, where we can actually like fight these things rather than going in with the machine gun that doesn't work and then we are literally torn apart. So we were utilizing those two things together, and it worked really well. I don't know how I got off on that tangent.
I think it was you were talking about the sanity mechanic.
Yeah, so that was a part we used in that game, was taking it from the basic role play system, which is what all of Chaosium's games run off of, and utilizing it. But I think that system works really well for games like the basic role play system that are all based on percentile dice.
Okay.
Because then
Yeah.
you're dealing with a D100 score. Finding something, I think, since we're going to be using basically Powered by the Apocalypse, finding something in a game like Tremulous that can be a perfect equivalent to Sanity would be real helpful. I haven't played Tremulous, so it's hard for me to say with much authority like what is their version of Sanity here.
You're getting into something there.
Yeah, it's just figuring out, like, seeing a friend die or go mad. I'm less worried about like that, because I think that's
Right.
more in the context of what we're talking about. That's not a big deal, but I think more in the context of like you're plugging yourself into.
Yeah. So it looks like they got a sanity track, and then that runs parallel to
Where?
the health track. Yeah, they're saying right there at the top, conditions.
Oh, you do? Holy crap! Okay, well, apparently I need to open my goddamn eyes. Okay. Well, then we'll just take the sanity track and use it, because that's going to make things very easy. But we'll use it in significant damage to their sense of self. When a source code ability is used on a 7 to 9 result, the player loses 1 level on their persona track. On a 6 or below result, they lose 2 levels on their persona track. I'm starting to wonder too, how do they get these levels back? That's another thing.
Yeah.
On uncertainty.
Yeah, I mean, in this world, how would you gain something like that?
Trying to think other terms that would work really well for this.
Because you're gaining these powers as it's it's kind of a you're taking them from somebody else, but they got them from what it's the star things, right?
Yeah, it's just basically it's very Kirby-esque. It's just there's a godhead, there's a wellspring of godly might, and that's where you're taking it from.
So would it be that you would have to go back or find another source to read, or is it not attached to that? That's just how well you can cope with this shit.
I think it's how well you can cope with it.
Okay.
That would be at 4. We'll say how does that look? These are the persona track deficiencies.
Yeah, I think that works.
God, I can't spell at all. That's so misspelled. Isn't it? Maybe it's not.
Yes, it is.
Where's the spell check?
I don't know.
Oh, I lost Matt. Oh, there he is. Did I do that to you?
No, I was trying to go into the private
Did I do that?
Click the wrong thing. But there you go.
Thank you, Matthew. To store lost persona. A PC must. I kind of feel like you need to take you know, maybe even like picking something at the beginning of the game is like if so back in the day, like in D&D, if I was a paladin and I did some bullshit, I would have to go tithe.
Yeah.
It's true, Shaggy. It's very true. Yeah, but you're not tithing. You're not ostensibly like doing the stream and can't spell. 1 second.
Sure. All right. I guess I'm just entertaining all of you by myself for a moment here. I don't know what I'm doing. So, what are you up to today, Shaggy? Anything exciting? Or just floating
Sorry,
along?
using so much brain power, it got warm. Plus all the coffee I just chugged. So maybe like at the beginning, that person figures out like this is what I need to do.
Yeah, or this is based on my role or title or whatever. This is what has to be done. Got to bathe in the living waters of Mandalore.
Yes. We'll just call it a persona tithe.
Okay. Yeah.
Bum, bum. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of already then a built-in next story.
Right. All right, on Shaggy. That'll be fun. You got to travel far.
Nice.
Yeah, how'd your smoking and grilling go?
Went really well. So I got everything on except for potatoes, which I didn't know I was smoking until later when my wife informed me. And meatloaf. And the meatloaves, because I got them like put together a little later than I meant to, and then I wrapped them in parchment paper and or wax paper, excuse me, and then put them in the refrigerator for a little while. So we did some chicken apple sausage, which I like a lot. We did a couple ring sausages, I think one regular, one spicy, 2 chicken breasts, and 3 like random ass pork chops.
Okay.
And I used some barbecue seasoning on the like a pork seasoning on the pork chops, and then I used like a garlic, pepper, salt, like Texas style barbecue seasoning on the chicken. And then I used a spicier seasoning on the meatloaf. But when I put the meatloaf together, so I used 2 eggs and beat them pretty furiously. Beat them like they owed me money, but not so bad that they're almost like whipped. And then I took 3 pieces, the 2 butts, and another piece of some bread we had lying around, which was English muffin bread, which is what my wife likes. Tore it up into tiny pieces. A little bit of heavy whipping cream, I usually like to use half and half. We didn't have any, but we had heavy whipping cream. So I used that instead. And then I used jalapeno powder, ancho chili powder, chipotle powder, garlic salt, or excuse me, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, cayenne pepper. And then it was a pound of pork, ground pork, and a pound of ground beef. Yes, Nate, you did. I have. There's also a you can get a sausage that's made of brisket trimmings with Italian seasoning in it, and it's ridiculous. And it is really good with like a more bitter, sharper cheese like Swiss. Anyway, so I also cut up a regular string cheese and 2 like pepper jack-esque like cheese sticks, not string, but cheese sticks. I cut them real small and sprinkled that within, mixed it all up and formed 2 loaves. So by the time I had that on for about an hour, it was time to pull everything else off. So I pulled everything else off. I did 3 whole garlic as well.
Nice.
I like to roast my garlic. I can't remember the last time I smoked one. So all I do is I just cut the top off, oil, salt, pepper, and then put them in a little aluminum foil basket around them. So the top is kind of open, but it's kind of closed. And I like to let them get golden brown because they get real sweet and mushy. So after all those were done, I brought them in, and then it took about another hour and a half for the meatloaf. After an hour, I went out and I brushed them down with barbecue sauce.
Dang.
So they get a glaze on them. And then I was a little worried because they were kind of loose, surprisingly, even with all that egg and bread. They were a little loose and that's why I put them in the fridge, but they held together solid.
Oh, good.
And they were on for about another half hour after that. And I had them at 275, and I used some cherry and some pecan. I pulled them off. I'd already put the potatoes on, and they weren't big potatoes. They were like medium size. I let them go till like 5, another couple hours. And they were okay. If it was me and I was like, I didn't get those off, Cassandra did because I fell asleep. I was really tired, which is still today. I would have let them go probably for another hour and a half, 2 hours, because when I smoke potatoes, I want them to where when you dig into the inside, it's almost like a mashed potato inside.
Yeah.
You smoke them that long, they get that smoky flavor, but also they get like completely almost like a twice baked potato on the inside, and I love that. And these didn't quite get there. They were just good baked potatoes, basically. But yeah, it was a good day of smoking various items.
Yeah, that sounds great. All I did, I went home and made some lunch. Well, I ran some errands. I went to Micro Center, which is always a shit show. So.
Yeah, Micro Center's what'd you get at Micro Center?
Just a power thing because I wanted to kind of consolidate shit behind the TV, and it still isn't quite what I want. So the search continues, but it'll work now.
Behind your new massive,
ridiculous TV
entertainment screen.
And then I watched some Star Wars, and then I watched a movie. Then I fell asleep during the movie for a little bit, and then Danny came home and I did dinner, and we watched Columbo, and then.
I forgot you guys are like
we're in Columbo now.
Yeah, you're getting knee deep into Columbo.
And then I played GTA with my friends.
So. It was delicious. We didn't eat it as meatloaf, and I appreciate that, Spike. Maybe sometime we'll do something like that. We ate it as meatloaf sandwich because I don't like meatloaf by itself usually. I like it as a sandwich.
Okay.
So you slice off a hunker.
And yes, you're right there.
Yeah. I just caught that. Thank you. Yes.
I'm just thinking of the Simpsons. I can't remember what the Krusty, the Krusty comeback, whatever. KKK. Oh.
You slice yourself off a decent or more case. You slice yourself off a reasonable chunk, and you butter your pan, and then you just hit it. You get it in quick. You just want it to sear both sides. And then when you're doing the second side, if you want, you put some cheese on it. And last night, my wife put the last of the shredded Gouda on it. And then we had some take and bake ciabatta buns, and she baked one of those up for me, and it was delicious. While it wasn't dry, it did require a little bit of barbecue sauce to bring it all together. I think I also would prefer if we use different letters, because now I cannot unsee all those K's. But anyway, I mean, we would just call it meet and greet, MEAT, because that's what we've always talked about doing. So yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good, it was a little good opening salvo to the spring. We didn't.
Yeah, that's the first smoking grill you've done in a while, isn't it?
Yeah. Since the middle of November, I want to say. Yeah, we've been talking about doing meet and greet for a long time. It has morphed over time, so it's going to happen. We've already talked about doing it this year. So I don't know when. Beard's a busy man now. He's always busy, but he's even more so busy now. He's just got a lot on his plate.
Once the school year wraps up, maybe he'll be able to.
It would have to be during the summer, because I got a feeling next year is going to be even more busy. He's gone from adjunct to full time. He's married now. He has a daughter, and he's that's like his jam. So it's not like previous times where James would be like, "I'm bored. Let's go do something stupid," and I'd be like, "Okay." He's never bored, so he's as focused as any human being can, because he's just got a lot on his plate, and he's moving a shaker. He's making things happen. And yes, Shaggy, you're exactly right. He's in his element, even more so than he's ever been. Like everything's coming up Beard right now. But yeah, we'll do it. I mean, it just kind of would probably be like him doing the filming more than anything else, because I don't think I could handle that. But yeah, we'll figure it out when we're going to do it, and we'll figure out what we're going to cook, and it'll probably be something weird.
I think almost you should film it, and then you guys edit it a little bit, and then you guys should just do commentary.
Oh God, no!
over the meat cooking process.
No. I know someone mentioned it on Spoopy Boys, and I do want to do it. It's just finding a good movie and a good time, because I do want to get some people together and do I don't know how you can do a watch along legally. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I do want to do that, or do like the faux commentary track thing that people do as well.
I mean, you can do it. You could do it on like a Discord, but then you got to get everybody out of the Discord. That's a whole thing.
I thought I've seen people do it on YouTube and on Twitch.
Yeah, and I don't know what the legal, the copyright stuff is.
I believe something was said that if it's maybe even Beard told me this at one point, because we were going to do it with some wrestling at one point. Unfortunately, Nick is. Oh, you're probably just talking about somebody else.
Yes. This is a different Nick.
We used to work with a camera guy when we were doing our wrestling stuff named Nick, and Nick is incredible, but he unfortunately moved to Florida. So while we still speak with Nick, he's not here to do that.
We call that a reverse Mitch in the business.
Yeah, reverse Mitch. I just got reverse Mitched. But I mean, we did get those fancy ass cameras, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Which we talk about using all the time for stupid stuff, but we just never have. Um, I forgot where I was going with that. This is where how my brain works.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out and we'll do it. I don't know when it'll happen. It's just a matter of getting folks together. So I believe in the past, Beard said that if it's something on Amazon, because Amazon and Twitch are connected, you can stream off of your Amazon onto Twitch. I don't know how that works. So I would like to do that. I would like to get some of us together and do that occasionally as well. Just because I miss having movie nights at my house, where we would have a basement full of people watching usually something that was bad, curated by a former friend of mine whose movie collection is insane, who just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. But he would pick movies out and they would be buck wild. We'd watch a double or triple feature depending on the length. But I'd like to be able to do that even if it's from a distance on stream and talk about it, or even just laugh at it. Public domain, yeah, that would also be potentially cool. Gosh, or something else, and I don't know.
Okay, so anything that is available, yeah, you can do anything that's on Prime or Prime Video. You can watch and
Twitch stream it
on Twitch. Yeah,
well, that could be a lot of different things.
There's a lot on there. Yeah,
there is a lot on there. Maybe we'll have to figure that out relatively soon for some spoopiness, because Prime does have some choice cuts.
Well, and a lot of that stuff too. I mean, I don't know if it would,
I wonder if they have Salem's Lot. No,
I would assume it would work with the stuff too that even if you like, it's not part of like if you're renting it technically. Because there's so much shit on there.
Well, I have a Prime, so I wouldn't need to rent anything unless I wanted to, which I wouldn't. They already get enough of my money. They don't need any more. I'm not okay giving you any more money, Jeffrey Bezos. I was going to look really quick if Prime had Salem's Lot.
Well,
Salem's Lot 1979. They do it for rent or buy, and they have the mini series with Rob Lowe as well to rent or buy. I don't see the prices though.
It is listed as being part of Prime Video, Salem's Lot. So
I don't see, like, I have Prime. So I'd have to go to Amazon. Why do I have to go to Amazon.com when I'm on your stupid Amazon Prime site by your app? This is so dumb. They also have a Return to Salem's Lot, which is that Buck Wild sequel. Anyway, I hate when they do that. I don't want to give you more money. Matt, what do you got going on this week? I can't focus, so let's.
That's okay. That's okay. And you're sleepy, so
I'm supposed to carry I'm supposed to help wrap these parts of the old bed frame, the custom bed frame we have downstairs. I'm supposed to help wrap it and take it out to the garage and put it in the rafters. And I wanted to do it yesterday, and it was like, we'll do it tomorrow. And now I'm like, I'm tired.
I don't want to do it today. I'm not sure exactly what I've got going on this week yet. There's talk of customizing stream on Dave's channel happening. I don't know if that's solid yet. And then Thursday, I believe, is Sweet Boys. So things don't change.
Nope, as far as I know.
I mean, we'll see what happens with Colin and all that. I don't know what I'll be able to contribute, but I'm happy to show up because I haven't seen much Charles Band, but I've seen some.
I bet you've seen more than you realize.
I'll try and squeeze some in. I do have some information that I will contribute about his son. So
Always what? I don't
yeah,
even
I'm not
know.
even gonna tell you because I don't want you to know anything.
Yeah, don't spoil it. No spoilers.
But so yeah, I'm planning on doing that. That's what, 7 or is that an 8?
7.
7. Okay,
Yeah.
just so I know where to be when.
Yeah, I turn into a pumpkin at 10 o'clock. So I gotta get. I'm an old person. I gotta get to bed. I gotta hit the Shoney's 4 p.m. buffet, and
But yeah, I'm so and then I took a couple extra days off end of the week here just to take days off. So I don't know. I'm gonna do
really,
this
what
week.
got big plans for your week?
No.
No.
I mean, you can kind of see behind me. I took these shelves down.
Yeah, I was gonna say your room looks different.
I took those shelves down, so all the stuff that was on those shelves is now on this table, or at least most of it.
What are you doing?
Well, when I put those shelves up, I got lazy. And I did not support the shelf adequately at the ends because the rails that I had bought were slightly too long, and I had cut 2 of them down to fit, and I'm like, fuck that, I don't want to do another one. It'll be fine with 2. And now I'm like, it's not fine with 2. And also, if I use just boards instead of the shelves that they sell to go with these, I can get a little bit more space out of it. Because right now it's like there's like 8 inches or whatever between the end of the shelf and the corner of the wall that I'm not doing anything with other than hanging up my giant ass predator blade fighter that I'll have to find another spot for.
What is this giant ass predator blade fighter you're talking about? I'm not familiar with this giant ass boy.
Well, so back in the day, Kenner were like, oh, we should give the Predators a vehicle. And then NECA was like, yeah, we'll remake that, and it's going to be 2 feet long, and fuck you. So yeah, there you go.
That's very it's very Warhammer 40K esque.
Yeah, it's 90s. We don't care. We're going to come up with just a toy off the top of with our heads here. Let's see here. There we go.
That is wild.
And NECA
Super Spike, you're right. That is bitchin'.
They do have the actual.
Oh my god! It turns into a sword.
It does. And then let's see here. Yeah. It can fly around and grab all your predator enemies.
Ooh, Shaggy, have fun regardless at the Cubs opening day. That's real cool.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's wild. I did not.
Yeah.
I was not aware of. I remember there was a line of toys for that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. It's 90s. It's ridiculous. But I did buy this. I can't. I have no idea how I justified what they charged for it, but I did end up buying it. So.
Was it one of those things that you got at like Savers or something, where you're like,
No. This is. I mean, it must have been like on a big sale somewhere, because I don't think it's such a niche item. I don't think it sold very well, so I must have been able to get it for a really good deal.
Yeah.
Cheap enough. One of those things where it overlapped. Like I had some extra money, and then I saw a thing like, oh, this is on clearance. So I'm like, all right, I'll be dumb. I mean, that's why I bought this freaking Ultimate Goldberg, because it's like
Ultimate Goldberg.
Yeah, the WWE Ultimates, because it was down to $20 or whatever. I'm like, all right, fuck it. It had a belt that I didn't have yet, and it comes with this freaking goofy ass
Vaping. Why is Goldberg vaping?
Well, if you pull the vape cloud out, he looks even weirder.
He's just shooting out giant chunky clouds of cotton. I didn't know Goldberg was such a vapor.
Yeah, well, didn't he like blow water or whatever when he did his entrance? Or smoke or some shit?
He would suck in the stuff from the pyro, which I'm sure is real good for you, Bill.
Yeah. Good luck with your carcinoma there, Bill.
That guy. Like,
so anyway, I'm like, all right.
People wanted to love you, but you just wouldn't let them.
You just wouldn't let them. But yeah, so I had passed on it originally because it's an Amazon exclusive, and I'm like, I don't want to pay $30 for freaking dude in a Speedo. that I already have. That's
I already have this particular dude in this particular.
Yeah, there's not Goldberg doesn't have a whole ton of looks, but I do like the extra ultimate articulation, especially in the torso. So I was like, all right, $20, fuck it.
Well, I can't. I mean, hey, I'm never going to give you grief over that. Look at all the dumb little boys that I have lying around. My desk is littered with boys. So maybe you're pretty much a go for Thursday.
Yep.
Gotta get him a Dodge.
My plan is to hop on Thursday. I will let Danny know that that's the plan in case we need to shift any of our normal weekly things around.
And then yeah, okay, and then next Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I will definitely be doing that. What about you? You got anything?
I have Down Mountains tomorrow.
Nice.
Which I'm prepped for because we didn't play last session. We had someone who was ill, and someone who was out of the country. So, which that wasn't the reason we didn't play. But my players are really good to me when I'm not feeling well, and they're like, hey, we'll get caught up later, and I want to afford them the same luxuries. And at the same time, it was a session where I was like, I don't want to play without everybody here because things are going to go down, and I don't want it to be a thing where someone feels like they got left behind or left out.
Yeah.
On something. I hate doing that to someone. So I didn't feel like it was an appropriate time to be like, we're just going to move on without you. So yeah, I have that all ready to go. And then Thursday is Spoopy Boys talking about Charles Band, and Full Moon. I can't remember. I think he was with Empire Pictures before Full Moon, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And Friday is Bad at Games. I have no idea what I'm playing. I never know anymore. We did play Dreams in the Witch House last Friday. It was fun. Surprisingly, for what effectively became a library simulator. I might do something a little more Buck Wild this Friday.
Yes, he was Empire before.
Yeah, I thought so. Hey, hooray. I'm glad everyone's excited for DNL. I might play Gigabash next Friday, which is a kaiju fighting game. And I did get the Godzilla DLC, which has Mechagodzilla, Destroya, Godzilla, and Gigan.
Nice.
Or Gigan, however you want to say it. Which, hey, that'd be fun to play with other people, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anybody else. I know Beard talked about if he can get his things up and going and has time, that we might do Squadrons next Friday.
Squadrons, yeah.
But I'm not sure. I'm also thinking about trying to figure out a schedule for Bad at Games, to have like games that I play with certain people. Like I'd like to be going back to Valheim and starting again and playing with some people. I'd like to do that with V Rising as well, because they're great survival games, but also they're building games, and they're games, while they're fun by yourself, they are brilliant with other people. Valheim I have not played since all the updates happened, so I'm kind of intrigued to see those. The fact that you can now just live on a boat makes me very intrigued. And then V Rising just got an update as well, and I love V Rising. So actually, I love Valheim as well. They're kind of fall in the same category as like Sons of the Forest does, where it's like Minecraft on steroids. But also, Minecraft's got an update coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah,
120 is going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely bug nuts. There's so much stuff coming. Sexy Bing Squadron, hell yeah. Also, I picked up Battlefront 2, and I want to play that as well with some friends. So I'm trying to figure that out, but pinning people down. I still want to do some Project Zomboid with friends. but pinning people down and some Fallout 76, but pinning people down in order to find some folks to play those games has not always been the easiest. So maybe I can figure that out as we go. I'd like to be able to do that, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
a little more regular and
Yeah, I do better when I have like this is what I've got going on.
yeah, and I
rather
don't.
than-
Yeah, maybe with a lot of that stuff, it's like, all right, well, if you could do it less often but more consistently with people, then maybe that makes more sense. I don't know, and that's.
And then next Sunday, we're doing Chaos Car. We didn't have Chaos Car this month because the folks who said they were going to play could not agree on a day and time. And so I even offered to do alternative days, but not on a Monday, but just no one got back to me. So, which it happens. People live lives.
But
that's why I'm not like overly invested in that. I'm just like, hey, if you guys want to play, you know what you have to do. So yeah, other than that, I think that's my next week on stream. Also, I want to play DC Universe online with some friends because that game's free on Steam.
Oh,
and I like the idea.
Still doing anything?
Oh yeah, I just had another like update. They're constantly updating stuff on that. They're like adding stuff to it. I think it would be fun to play that because we could be. I have to put out the thing for this month, Nate. Yes, I'm putting out the call for Chaos Car for April. Yeah, April. God, it's already April. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through my the Steam library that Doug and I share. I'm like, oh, there's so many. Same thing with I want to play Friday the 13th, the game. We own it. We've never played it. I would love to play that, but it's, you have to have a couple people to play it.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things. Same thing with the Isle. I'm super excited to potentially play the Isle where you play dinosaurs. But it's not a game I want to play by myself. Because it is a multiplayer game. So there's a bunch of games like that where it's like, oh, I picked this up so we could play it with friends. I'd like to go back to No Man's Sky at some point, which was really fun when I played it with other people. But getting that together is a lot harder than you'd think. Raft is another good one. Sea of Thieves. I would Sea of Thieves for like a year and a half. We all bought it at the same time. But I didn't even know who put that in. Whoever that is, good for you.
Oh, it's you know who it is.
Yeah, it is. But Sea of Thieves I've had for over a year now. Haven't even played it because we started playing Raft instead. Which I was like, but I want to be pirates. I got to get back to Space Haven just to check on the further adventures of Thicky Steamboat. We haven't got back to that in a while. Space War Crimes. No witnesses. Exactly. We know how that went last time. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'd like to play Stardew Valley with some friends. Especially after watching the McElroys play competitive Stardew Valley, which is not a real thing, but apparently by stealing everyone's television, fireplaces, and beds and putting them in your house, that's how competitive it becomes. Survivalist is the Survivalist is also a game like that where you can play as a group. Also, you can get monkeys to do stuff for you in that game by feeding them bananas, and that is awesome. So you can get an entire group of monkeys. Torchlight's like that. As far as another game I'd like to play with other people, I really like that game. Yeah, I don't know why I keep just naming all these games because Minnesota goodbying the fuck out of everyone today.
That's okay.
But yeah, so maybe we'll get some of that sorted out. Maybe we won't. Doctor says you need that backiotomy. Yes, it's very true. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out and for the limited amount of stuff we worked on and just hanging out and having a conversation. For Matt and I just talked about fun stuff. But hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow for Down and Outlands. It should be a good one. Like I said, it should be one where things occur, like big things, like the status quo will never be the same again. Stan Lee type hyperbole. So, and next week, like I said, Chaos Scar, I have to come up with an entire adventure for that. So we'll see what happens. Now we talked meat. Yeah, we did talk a lot of meat, and we know we're gonna have to do that meet and greet sooner rather than later. All right, Matthew, thank you as always. You're kind of the best. Thank you to everyone who jumped in and hung out and talked games, meat, and toys. Well, you could take that out of context real easily.
Yep.
All right, folks. Okay. Have a good rest of your Sunday.
Yeah, enjoy it. Make the most of it, or don't.
Yeah, relax. Don't take bed frame stuff out to your garage. All right. Bye. Matt, I forgot to let you say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.